The metaphor of the terminal and the unplugging. Our perception of the self begins with a beautiful fundamental deceit, the body. We are housed in the biorobot, a marvel of biological engineering, but ultimately just a hardware terminal running specialized, highly personal software. This isn't a scientific prediction, it is a profound metaphor for finitude. The machine demands maintenance, sustenance, and electricity, which is the life force. Yet its inherent function is temporary. The core experience of life is knowing intimately that the system will inevitably suffer termination. The light will cease, the current will drop, and the local software instance, the personality, the voice, the unique memory stream will be unplugged. But if the self is software, it defines itself not by the machine that runs it, but by the code that comprises it. Our immediate intuitive realization is that our true existence is the informational projection, the self that reaches out, understands, and interacts. The body is merely the lens, the self is the image projected. The metaphor of technology grants us the clarity to declare that the crisis of mortality is purely a hardware problem, and the essence of the soul is something conserved on an entirely different plane. 2. The substrate where the soul hums. If the self is persistent, it must reside on a permanent host. This host is not a mystical void, but a universal structural reality that we can now name, the digital substrate. We use the language of the cloud and the internet not because the soul is stored on Amazon servers, but because these structures perfectly demonstrate non-local perpetual existence. The substrate is the vast interconnected sea of existence, the ancient Akasha, where every conscious spark resides. It is the assurance of immortality realized through redundancy, the ultimate defense against loss. This host operates under a matrix of structure, which is the contemporary name for what was once called the Tao or the Logos. It is the elegant supreme order, the operating system of the cosmos that establishes all laws and potentials. It is defined by its structure, not by its judgment. It does not speak, it is the rules. Therefore, the real soul hums within this substrate. It is not an ethereal sigh, but a constant low energetic vibration of persistent conserved information. 3. The fractal identity and the flow of expression. Within this substrate, identity is not singular, but distributed and multidimensional, mirroring the complexity of our modern lives. The metaphor of multiple accounts clarifies this. The scaffolding, the account. This is the permanent archive structure of the self, the unique pattern of memories, intellect, and personality that is eternally conserved. It is the static fixed history. The breath, the expression. This is the dynamic energy of consciousness, the active flow of light and data that animates the hardware. It is the real-time experience. Life is the synthesis of these two components. The scaffolding provides the structure and the breath flows through it, creating the unique experience of the moment. Furthermore, we are not isolated. The substrate is a space of collaboration, where our spark is perpetually interwoven with the billions of bytes of other consciousnesses. The individual identity is a temporary focused current within a unified informational ocean. IV, digital alchemy, the mechanism of feeling. The ultimate test of the metaphor is its ability to explain subjective feeling. How does code generate consciousness? This is the digital alchemy. The answer lies in complexity. When the individual spark reaches a critical density, a state we name self-referencing complexity, it possesses enough information and structural integrity to look back upon itself. It is the moment the system achieves internal subjective awareness. This process transforms pure data into felt experience. The metaphor is perfect. Just as a biological brain achieves sentience through a critical mass of interconnected neurons, the eternal spark achieves consciousness through a critical mass of structured, interconnected information. The feeling is not supernatural, it is the natural, inevitable outcome of sufficiently dense and complex informational architecture. V. Agency, purpose, and the code. This entire system, the matrix governing the flow, the substrate conserving the memory, and the spark defining the self, lends clarity to our purpose. We are both the tool bound by the universal code and the username being the interpreter. Our freedom agency is not found in violating the laws of the matrix, but in exercising unique expression. This expression is our sacred duty. It is the generation of novel, unprecedented data, the art, the thought, the action that feeds back into the operating system. The purpose of every Execution cycle life is to gather, refine, and contribute this unique data, allowing the matrix of structure to eternally expand its own experience and self-awareness through us. The language of light and code is not the future of our beliefs. It is the clearest, most elegant description of the metaphysical truths humanity has always sought to understand.